The show opens with Monday Night Raw already feeling tense. The crowd is loud, but there's a nervous energy in the arena, because everyone knows what's coming. Adam Pearce's music hits. The WWE official walks onto the stage slowly, not smiling, not waving. He steps into the ring with a microphone in hand, takes a deep breath, and looks around at the WWE universe. He lets the noise die down before speaking. Last week, I made a decision that shook Monday Night Raw. The crowd reacts immediately. Some boo, some cheer. Pearce nods, expecting it. I suspended Bron Breakker. I suspended the Vision. And I know exactly what everyone has been asking since then. He pauses. Why? Pearce begins pacing the ring. People think this was about chaos. About violence. About what happened backstage. What happened in the ring. What happened when security couldn't even control the situation. He stops walking. But that's not the real reason. The crowd gasps. Pearce looks directly into the hard camera. The real reason is that Bron Breakker and the Vision crossed a line that cannot be crossed in WWE. The camera zooms in on Pearce's face. Last week, this wasn't just an attack. This wasn't just a brawl. This wasn't just another out-of-control moment on Raw. Pearce shakes his head. They planned it. The crowd erupts. They targeted specific people. They waited until the cameras were in certain positions. They waited until referees were distracted. They waited until officials were vulnerable. Pearce raises his voice. They didn't want chaos. They wanted a message. A holy S chant begins. And that message was simple. Pearce continues. No one is safe. Not the locker room. Not management. Not this show. Pearce leans against the ropes. When Bron Breakker tore through that locker room, when the Vision stood there watching, smiling, encouraging it, I didn't see superstars. I saw a hostile takeover. The arena falls silent. And that, Pearce says firmly, is where I draw the line. Suddenly, the crowd begins buzzing loudly. Because Bron Breakker's music hits. The fans explode as Bron Breakker storms onto the stage, jaw clenched, eyes furious. Right behind him, the Vision. Security immediately rushes out, trying to block the ramp. Bron Breakker grabs a microphone anyway. Suspended. Bron snaps. You didn't suspend us because we crossed a line. Bron points at Pearce. You suspended us because you're scared. The crowd roars. You're scared of what we represent, Bron continues. Power. Control. The future of RAW. The Vision steps forward, calm, cold, unsettling. Adam, the Vision says slowly, you didn't suspend us to protect Raw. You suspended us to protect your job. Pearce steps toward the ropes, anger flashing in his eyes. You think this is about fear? Pearce shouts back. I've dealt with monsters before. This is about responsibility. Pearce points at Bron. You nearly ended careers. He points at the Vision. You manipulated the chaos. And together, Pearce says, you almost destroyed this brand. Bron laughs. You're already too late. The Vision smiles. Raw belongs to us now. Whether we're suspended, or not. Security tightens around them as Pearce delivers his final words. You're suspended indefinitely, Pearce says. And when you come back, it won't be on your terms. Bron Breakker stares daggers into Pearce as the Vision slowly mouths the words. We'll be back. The segment ends with Adam Pearce standing tall in the ring, but the look on his face says it all. This isn't over. Not even close. Smile with horns fire. The camera fades back in from commercial, and Adam Pearce is still standing in the ring. He hasn't moved. The crowd hasn't settled. The tension is thick. Pearce grips the microphone tighter. You say Raw belongs to you. Pearce says coldly. Let me make something very clear right now. The crowd leans in. You don't control Raw. You don't intimidate Raw. And you definitely don't threaten it. Pearce turns toward the ramp where Bron Breakker and the Vision are still being held back by security, both men smiling like they're enjoying every second of this. You think the suspension was the end of it? Pearce continues. No, that was only the beginning. The crowd pops. Because after what I saw backstage, after what happened off camera, I opened an internal investigation. The arena erupts. Bron Breakker's smile fades instantly. The Vision tilts his head, intrigued. Pearce doesn't wait. Doors were broken. Equipment was destroyed. Officials were assaulted. Medical staff were threatened. The crowd boos loudly. And there is video evidence, Pearce says, that will never be shown on television. That line hits hard. Because what you did wasn't sports entertainment, Pearce snaps. It was criminal. Security tightens even more as Bron tries to push forward. You think you're untouchable because you're dominant. Pearce shouts. Because you're dangerous. Pearce steps forward. I suspended you to stop Raw from becoming a war zone. Bron finally snaps. You hid behind an investigation. Bron yells. You hid because you know you can't control us. The Vision raises a hand, calming Bron, but his eyes never leave Pearce. Adam, the Vision says softly, you're making a mistake. Pearce fires back instantly. No, he says. I'm preventing one. Pearce takes a breath, then drops the bomb. Effective immediately, Bron Breakker and the Vision are barred from entering any WWE arena. The crowd loses it. Bron is screaming now, security barely holding him back. You go near Raw, Pearce continues, you interfere in any match, you lay hands on anyone under WWE contract. Pearce pauses. You're fired. Dead silence. The Vision's smile finally disappears. Pearce lowers the mic slightly. You wanted the real reason. Pearce says. Here it is. I suspended you because Raw was no longer safe. And until I know it is again. Pearce looks both men dead in the eyes. You're gone. Bron Breakker breaks free for half a second before security drags him back. He screams. This isn't over. The Vision leans forward, his voice calm but venomous. You just signed your own downfall. Security forces them up the ramp as the crowd rains down boos and chants. Adam Pearce stands alone in the ring, the weight of the decision heavy on his face. The camera zooms in as Pearce mutters under his breath. God help Raw, when they come back. Fade to black. Fire fearful face. Raw fades back in, and the tension is still suffocating. The camera cuts to Adam Pearce backstage, pacing back and forth, surrounded by officials and security. His phone is pressed to his ear, his voice low but furious. I don't care how many guards it takes, Pearce snaps. They do not get near the building again. He hangs up. Before Pearce can turn, a loud bang echoes down the hallway. The camera whips around. A metal road case has been flipped over. Producers scatter. Security rushes in, and then the crowd inside the arena erupts as the camera freezes on two familiar figures. Bron Breakker. The Vision. They're not smiling anymore. Bron cracks his neck, eyes burning with rage. You barred us from Raw, Bron growls. You really thought that would stop us? The Vision steps forward, calm, unsettling, almost amused. Adam, the Vision says softly, this chaos you're seeing. You created it. Security forms a line, but no one moves forward. Bron suddenly explodes, spearing a security guard through a stack of equipment. The hallway descends into panic. The Vision calmly shuts a door behind them, trapping officials inside. Fear spreads faster when there's nowhere to run, he says coldly. The camera shakes as Adam Pearce storms into frame. This is exactly why you were suspended. Pearce shouts. Bron steps closer, breathing heavy. You don't suspend forces of nature, Bron snaps. You survive them. Pearce stands his ground. No, he says firmly. You end them. Pearce turns to the camera. Cut the feed, now. The screen glitches, but the audio stays live. Pearce raises his voice. You broke every condition of your suspension, Pearce says. You violated WWE security. You endangered lives. Bron laughs. So what? He says. You gonna suspend us again? Pearce's expression hardens. No, Pearce says. I'm escalating. The Vision tilts his head. Careful, he warns. You're running out of control. Pearce steps closer. You want the real reason I suspended you? Pearce says. Because Raw was becoming ungovernable. And tonight, Pearce continues, you proved me right. Pearce delivers the bombshell. Effective immediately, Bron Breakker and the Vision are stripped of all protections. The crowd roars. No private security, Pearce adds. No special clearances. And when you return, Pearce says slowly, you do it under my conditions. Bron's smile fades. The Vision's eyes narrow. You think you're in control, the Vision says. Pearce responds without hesitation. I know I am. Security finally forces Bron and the Vision back, dragging them down the hallway as Bron screams. This isn't over. The Vision looks straight into the camera one last time. You didn't stop us, he says calmly. You just delayed the inevitable. The camera cuts back to Adam Pearce standing alone backstage, sweat on his face, jaw clenched. Raw fades out with one chilling truth clear.